Hi, my name is Musembi Wanza, a storyteller, editor, writer, and a lover of people. That's me.
Hi, Musembi.
Hi, Rugara.
Welcome to our show, Conversations in Literature.
Thank you for having me.
So, Musembi is a lover of words first. Writer of creative nonfiction, fiction, and articles.
Yeah.
She's also an editor and member with Writerspace Africa KE, an affiliate of Writerspace Africa, Nigeria. She participated in the second edition of Pen Africa that was held in Kenya in March 2020.
Yes.
Her work was recently published on the Marathon County Public Library. Her work has appeared in Meetings of Minds and currently is a contributor with Amaka Studio UK. When she's not writing, she enjoys reading other people's stories, responding to disasters as a disaster management professional. That's interesting. Occasionally, she goes hiking, camping, and enjoys watching wild animals at a distance. So welcome.
Thank you.
And today we are going to have a talk with you about something wonderful known as the personal essay. Personal essay. And in preparation for this interview, I read at least 4 of your personal essays. So there's one called Bonding Over Vaginas. Very interesting title. This Child of Mine. There's another one called A Backdoor Abortion Was My Only Choice. We must decriminalize abortion now. And a vignette of mom's ever-changing emotional complexion. Let me ask let's say, not a very interesting question, but a question that we need to get out of the way.
Okay.
So why the personal essay?
If you've noticed, all of my personal essays are under a pseudonym. And it's my way of expressing myself. I don't normally, I'm not as expressive as most people think, I think. But in my work, in my writing, that is how I mostly come alive. And so this is what personal essays means to me, just expressing myself. And that is why I use pseudonyms, because most of the time it's work that I don't want someone like my mother to read. Yeah, so it's very personal, but it's also something I also want to put out there.
But the ones I've read are not under a pseudonym. They are under the name Esther Musembi.
That one on abortion, yeah, it's under pseudonym, yeah. It is.
What pseudonym? Okay. What's the name?
You'll have to go back and read it.
What about this one, Bonding Over Vaginas?
Bonding Over Vaginas. Yeah, that is, it's under Musembi Wanza. And it's the name I am adopting going forward in my literary work. And a lot of people call me Mus. I don't know if you know this. Yeah, so it comes from Musembi. It's a short form of Musembi. Yeah, so that one is not really a pseudonym. Yeah, but it's something playful. I was just trying something new. Yeah.
Is it your your full name?
Musembi, yes.
No, I mean Wanza.
Yeah, Wanza is my name. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are dropping their English names. So is that part of that politics?
It is.
Dropped Esther for
it
an
is.
African name.
It is, because I feel like Esther puts me in a box. Esther sounds straight jacket sort of way. Yeah, so I want to, Mus is my creative name, and in full it is Musembi. But you see, I don't want to just say I am Musembi. It's Musembi Wanza, an extension of myself and also my creative side.
You said that you don't like writing about yourself or talking about yourself. But
talking about myself.
But isn't that the essence of a personal essay? Talking about yourself.
Yeah, that is what I do, but on paper, in writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not talking about myself like the way we are doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what I mean. Yeah.
I thought you meant that you don't like writing about yourself as well.
No, I love writing about myself and the experiences that make me me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I can read a quote here.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me what you think. I speak the truth, not as much as I would, but as much as I dare. And I dare a little more as I grow old. This is by Michel de Montaigne. What do you think? What does it spark in your mind?
I dare talk about myself.
I speak the truth, not as much as I would, but as much as I dare. And I dare a little more as I grow old.
To me, it speaks of a metamorphosis. You're speaking the truth, but it might not be everyone's truth, because that is what personal essays are. It's your truth. It is what happened as according to you. Because I'll give an example. There is a personal essay I wrote a while back, and it had my big brother in it. But when he read it, the version in his head is not the same as the one I wrote. But we were basically in the same story. Yeah. So his version was not my version. So his truth is not my truth. So the way I understand that quote is writing about yourself, or rather what a personal essay means. It is basically your truth and the limits you can push that truth.
There's something interesting about memory, false memories. And sometimes you remember things. I don't know if this has happened to you. There's something you believe as a, not maybe foundational memory, but one of those core memories of your childhood.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about it one day, and then your mother or your aunt or somebody older says, no, that didn't happen. And then they tell you what happened.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I don't remember what you were saying. I remember this.
Yeah.
Is that something something you consider as a essayist, writing based on your memories, that some memories may actually not be the truth?
Yeah.
They could just be your truth.
Yeah, sure. It could be my truth, and I'm allowed to write my truth because I'm writing from my own experience. It could be, even if it's imagination, it's my truth in my head. So that is the truth that I'm choosing to write. It doesn't matter what another person might perceive of it. It's me first. Actually, that is how I view personal essays. They are very personal and they are very selfish in the way you choose to present them, in the way you choose to communicate.
This means that the journalist's truth, or rather the personal essay's truth, is different from the journalist's truth.
It is. Because the journalist's truth, which is something that I straddle, is more abstract. It's more factual. It's data. You need to have evidence to say these things. But in a personal essay, or just in any story, it is the way the writer chooses to tell the story. That is their truth. That is their truth.
There's a difference between truth and facts.
Yeah. Truth can be misconstrued because it means, you're Eric, yes. I am Musembi. We could be talking about the same thing, but the way I am coming up with the facts, which are my truth, is different from what you're coming up with as your truth. So
is the facts what happened, and the truth what I think about what happened? My truth. Because they talk about that we now live, because of fake news, that we now live in a post-truth world.
Yeah.
seems like they should say it's a post-facts world because there are many truths.
Yeah, there are many truths floating around.
So there will never be a post-truth world.
Yeah.
And Trump calls his social media truth social, and every post is called a truth. He just posted a truth on Truth Social.
Yeah.
Which is sort of very trippy when you think about the fake news that is spread there.
Okay, now you called it fake news. So, yes, there's a big difference between truth and facts. And coming from a media kind of world, you know, there's PR.
Yes.
PR does not mean whatever story is being spinned is factual or truthful. But because they've come up with facts and they're presenting it in a way that seems truthful, then we are bound to think it's true. So I think there's a very big difference between facts and truth. Facts is hard evidence. You cannot fight it, and if you're fighting with it, you have to come up with your own set of evidence. But truth really depends on who tells the story first and how. Yeah, that is how I view truth versus facts. Yes. Yeah.
So as a journalist / an essayist.
Yeah.
So these are two maybe diametrically opposed things when it comes to the idea of fact versus truth. So do you find that when you're writing a personal essay, your ethics or your training as a journalist sort of interfere sometimes, and you feel, should I add some, should I say this? Is this something I should say, or should I add some evidence? Or should I try and say, I am saying this, but scholars have said this? Is that something that you grapple with?
I can't say I do, because like I said before, as a personal essayist, my truth comes first. And in that, I have freedom to write whatever I want to write. I have freedom to tell the story the way I want to tell the story. Yeah, but as a journalist, obviously, you have to fact check everything, even whatever the source tells you, even the way we are sitting here, you listening to me and asking me questions. As a journalist, I would go back and go back to your answers, or rather the source's answers, and determine if they are factual. Yes, factual and truthful. Yes. Okay. But in my personal writing, that doesn't really matter. I write from the heart. Yeah, it's my heart that I'm writing from.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I had Peter Ngila here, we were talking about, I asked him a question about memory.
Yeah.
Because my opinion is that it's very hard to write about, like, a creative fiction about something that happened today or even this month. I feel if you want to write creative fiction about an event, you have to almost have forgotten it.
Really?
Yeah, like enough time has to have passed such that when you write, you're writing, you're not remembering all the details, but enough time has passed that your mind has started making up details. And I feel that memory is very close to fiction, closer to fiction than closer to facts. You know how when people tell stories, and the story is always, when people tell stories sound so mythical. Oh, this guy was, when they're telling about high school, oh, this guy was like this, he was Jitu la Miraba Mina, he was like this. But then you see that person in real life, or you see a picture, you're like, this was not the image that was brought to my mind when they were telling the story.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it. Because the way you're explaining it, it's like memory has to
fill in the gaps.
Fill in the gaps, and make the story more, should I say fantastical?
Not necessarily fantastical. It's because that's part of the truth.
Yeah.
So it's like if let's say the example I was giving, it was a fight. You were scared. So of course that guy was very huge.
Yeah.
But maybe in the real sense they weren't that big. But you have to explain to yourself that guy was so big that I couldn't fight him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think memory does that, and maybe the personal essayist is dealing with that. That is the raw material of the personal essayist.
It must be, because you've read one essay about my mother, right? And in that story, my mother is scary.
Yeah.
Like, even from my childhood, when I tell people about my mother, when I was a child, she was this scary person. Not scary in a bad way, just the typical African mom. Yeah, who would be quick to discipline you all the time. But then now, even when I'm having conversations with my mom and I ask her some of these incidents, maybe when she was scary, that is not how she looks at it. She was like, but no, I was just being your parent, I was just disciplining you. But in my memory, she was this scary person that I would never want to cross. So yeah, I think memory does that. It's closer to fiction. Yeah,
and it makes me wonder sometimes about raising children. When you're raising a child, how they perceive things that you do could be very wild compared to how you thought of what you were doing.
Yeah.
So maybe one day you raised your voice, and the way that child perceived it was that, oh, my dad does not like me anymore.
Very different, yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe it sticks with them. And then it becomes a story they tell themselves. And maybe it colors how they see the world.
Yeah.
It's their truth, but it's not the truth.
Yeah. I think I write a lot when I'm doing my personal essays. I write a lot from my childhood. I don't know why. Maybe it's that memory thing. I have never thought about it that way. But it's like my memory has fermented over time, and the way I now perceive those things is just a bit different. Yeah. Like, for example, growing up, I always thought my mom was the bad and good cop. My mom was the bad cop when it came to parenting, and my dad was the good parent. Like, he didn't use to beat us, but he was strict in his own way. He was strict. But in my truth, because my mom would be the one who would beat us, then in my memory, in my truth, she became the scary character in almost all my essays. Yeah, so I think memory makes someone perceive things a lot differently from what they really were. And and so it becomes a question of, was it really the truth? Is it just your memory? Yeah.
There's this story by Borges. Borges, an Argentinian writer, Julio Luis Borges. So in this story, there's a man with a perfect memory. That means he's never forgotten anything in his life.
Since he was born?
Yes.
Since he was born?
Yes. And if he looks around this way, he'll see everything and remember everything. So that makes him, you would think, the most intelligent man, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out, in this story, it turns out that he has no imagination. So memory actually is what gives you imagination. And the fact that memory creates and invents is what makes you imaginative.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because if you only remember everything as it happened,
Yeah.
where would there be need? How would you even learn to imagine things?
Fill in the gaps.
There would be even no need to imagine.
Yeah.
You imagine only because you don't remember how it happened exactly. So you fill in those gaps. And sometimes you fill in the gaps subconsciously.
Ah, interesting.
So that's the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And do you feel the boundary between the personal essay and... Actually, let me ask, is there a difference between personal essay and autobiographical fiction?
Personal essays and autobiographical fiction.
Autofiction, yeah.
I don't think there is.
Except maybe that essays will tell and stories will show.
Yeah. And they mostly rely on your truth yet again. Yeah, so I don't think there's much difference.
Okay, now let me ask about the boundary between the personal essay / autobiographical fiction with fiction, like a story now.
If there's a difference.
What's like the boundary? Like what do you think about how they relate with each other? How different they are to each other? But mostly I want to know about the nexus between these two.
The autobiographical...
autobiographical versus like now fiction. Because both of them you're drawing on the same source, probably.
Imagination.
Yeah. Your subconscious as well.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Like they say that stories, fiction, tells the truth more than if you're writing like a factual story of what happened. If you write a fictional story, and not like you're writing it fictionally, trying to make it a story, but where like your heart and soul gets into it, you end up telling it more true than if you are trying to tell it as it happened. So what's the difference? What's the boundary?
I'll quote Trevor Noah, though not in verbatim. Recently, he was talking to Chimamanda, and he was saying that fiction is probably more truthful than non-fiction. And it's because fiction, anything can happen, and everything has happened. Like, for example, anything is possible in fiction. You see, you can... let me quote Peter Angila's book, The Legend of the Beach House. It's fiction, right? And it's drawing from real events. But because he's written it as fiction, I mean, it can happen, or it has happened. The possibilities are endless. So in this way, I think the boundary is quite small between autobiographical non-fiction and fiction. But I will still go for fiction being... It is a whole landscape. Like, a writer or just anyone who wants to do a story and chooses fiction, they are better placed to do that story in whichever way they want. Like, again, Chimamanda's most recent book, Dream Count. There's one novella there where she's drawn from the experience of someone, real events that happened, but because it's fiction, The possibilities are there, they are endless, as opposed to when maybe if it was an autobiographical non-fiction, maybe this person would even come forward and say, you know what, this is not the way this happened, or you misconstrued this event. This is not what I was wearing. This is not the setting. That kind of thing. So fiction gives more freedom, in my opinion.
Were you always aware of the personal essay as a form?
Not really. Yeah, I just most of the time I'll just write it to express myself. Yeah, so I was not aware like that I was doing personal essays until probably during the Pen residency, where the whole idea of the residency was to look back on our experiences and write about them, but now in a creative way. And they took it a notch higher they gave us the freedom to even write in simple language. When I say simple language, one of the facilitators gave us the example of Alain Mabanku, who I'm sure you've read. So he was saying, if you grew up speaking Sheng, you can do your story in Sheng. If you want to maybe use phrases or words from your mother tongue, you're also free to do that as well. So until then, I was writing personal essays, but I had never looked at it like that. Like, this is really my personal experience, and I can always choose to write it in whatever way, in whatever form that I please.
Have you since then gotten like more technically fascinated with that form and studied it a bit more? Like, who are the writers you've been reading?
Starting here in Kenya, Frank Njugi is one of my favorites. There's Nyasili Atetwe, and maybe, or rather, I like these people because I know them. So when I read their personal essays, and there's also Fisia Nyirongo. She's a friend of mine, and she's a Zambian editor, an editor from Zambia. So when I read their personal essays, it feels intimate. Maybe because now I feel they've opened a door that I can go in and know something about their personal lives that was not maybe privy before. Yeah, so they come top of my mind when it comes to personal essays. And also, even in the settings they use, it's things I can touch in my mind. It's things I can see in my mind. And I feel like personal essays should be like that. They are personal, not just to the writer, but also to the reader. What do you want to make this person feel? How do you want them to feel after reading this personal essay? Yeah.
Is that the difference between a personal essay and a regular essay? That the other essay makes you think, the personal essay makes you feel?
For sure, it makes you feel. There's one from Fisia, I'll quote Fisia. When we were at the residency together, she told me that story, or rather that experience, but it was in pieces. It was not like a complete story. She just mentioned it like, I grew up in Zambia, but my mother is she has family in this particular country and another country, and so growing up I was feeling a little bit fragmented, that kind of thing. But you see, she just said it in passing. Then a few years later, she shares this essay about how she went back to these places where her mother came from and how she felt. It was a journey, it was a whole journey. And now reading it and going back to our conversation, it now brought it full circle. I understood what this experience really meant for her. And it also made me feel nostalgic in the way a childhood makes someone, or rather me, about the places you've come from, maybe the people you've met in your young life.
So a personal essay taps into the raw material of your life, your memories, your pain. Can you speak, this is more of a mystical question. I like what Peter Ngila says when he comes here, that he said this every time I've interviewed him, that writing is spiritual. So can you speak to the pen as a magic wand in the personal essay, in the way that it taps that material and what it does with it?
Now you've mentioned Peter, and I've interacted with Peter. That is one of the things he keeps on saying, that writing for him is spiritual. And for people who've read his work, I think it's always there. Like, he writes from the way he sees things philosophically, there's spirituality there. So in terms of the pen being like a spiritual, did you call it a spiritual wand?
Like a magic wand.
A magic wand. It is. Because it makes you pull things from your mind to paper. And sometimes even as a writer, you might write something and someone will go like, your way of thinking is really, different or special. And in the way that I look at it is, for me, writing is cathartic. Maybe some people will say crying, others will say when I'm overwhelmed I run, or something like that. But now for me, it's writing. It's now where I am able to put my thoughts in order. The things that are brewing in my mind, I am able to now arrange them on paper in writing. And again, as I said before, I am not those people who like talking about themselves, about their experiences. But when it's locked in there and I want to be able to come to terms with it, because you're also meeting self when you're writing, then I'm able to do this with a pen. So it's spiritual in that way, because for me, I am able to face myself. I am able to face my fears. And even in the usual journaling, I am able to reflect and to see things in a different and a better way.
When the wand has done its thing, and you read what you've written, do you feel what you've written is of the same essence as, or the same consistency as what you had in your memory, or is it somewhat transformed after being written?
Okay, let me ask you, have you ever written something and the way you thought about it in your head is not the way it is on paper?
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. So
it happens to me a lot. And again, this is where you just let the pen roll, just let your thought process be free, and you can always go back to your writing and now decide, is this what I really had in mind? when I started writing this.
Would you prefer it to be the way you had it in mind?
Most of the time, that is what I prefer.
More than what came out in the writing?
Yeah, especially with personal essays. I like what I had in mind to be now what I have in front of me.
Now after writing this, the editing?
Most of the time. But I also do not like to edit my personal essays. I do the initial, just going through it, but I always want someone else to look at it with a fresh pair of eyes.
But they will not know what you had in mind.
I will tell them.
Okay.
I will tell them this is what I had in mind, and I think I might have veered a bit.
Okay.
So if you can help me to bring it back to this, yes.
Let me read you another quote. Yeah? Let's come close home to Chimamanda Adichie. This is from her talk, Danger of a Single Story. So she says, all of these stories make me who I am, but to insist on only these negative stories is to flatten my experience and to overlook the many other stories that formed me. The single story creates stereotypes, and the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but that they are incomplete. They make one story become the only story.
Well, first I agree with that quote. Because a person is many things. Probably you have a friend and they've been so good to you. You're always raving, this is my good friend, he's always coming through for me. And then this friend just does one thing, you fall out. And now the story changes to, that person is bad. Person A is bad. He's a bad friend. He never came through for me in this way. But you see, you've had seasons where everything was good, everything was okay. So it's the same way how Chimamanda is saying, the danger of a single story. You just choose to focus on one negative thing, and it's okay. There's always positive, there's always negative. And all of these experiences make me who I am. They make you who you are. So so it doesn't mean that one should outweigh the other. That is how I see it. It should be a circle.
And I see this a lot in politics, where what you said, one story becomes the defining way people view you. And I think we vote according to a single story. So there could be multiple stories about somebody, terrible stories, but one thing, this guy, uliona ile venye sijui aliadopt mtoto mgani. This is a kind man. This is a good man.
And we run with that.
Or he's a Christian. That person is a Christian. I will vote for him. But there is all the stories around that person. Or now that the opponent. We saw what happened with Nancy Barasa. Nancy Barasa was a very accomplished lady. The things she'd done, she used to chair FIDA. She was part of the Constitutional Review Commission. Like, she was accomplished. Then one day she pinched somebody's nose. And I know it's whataboutism, but men in positions of power have done terrible things. She pinched one. I think she pinched her nose. Or what did she do? I don't remember what she did. But it was not. If you compare to what has been done. But that story was overblown by the media, maybe because it was paid to do so. And you can see how the single story is weaponized in politics, in the media. one story becomes your story.
It defines you.
You go to an interview,
Yeah.
they ask you that one thing.
They always go back to that.
So now, let me bring it back to the personal essay. Do you feel the personal essay as a form that you are dedicated to, that you are trying to tell all the different stories about yourself, not just...
For sure. And you see, for example, the abortion one, that is not a story I'm actually talking about it here for the first time. It was written under a pseudonym. It was a way for me to vent. It was during the lockdown. Yeah, but you see, maybe for someone who knows me, or rather who knows what I write about, the stories I've done before, I feel like that would be a blight on
everything,
on how they define me. Because, but you see, it's a simple human experience. I was feeling this way, I tried to do this thing, it didn't go through, and it was a way for me to just vent, talk about my experience. But it is not the story that should define me. There are many stories I could write about myself. There are many stories a lot of people could say about me. So yeah, I think it is a way, the personal essay is a way of bringing all these things full circle to you, or rather to me as a writer, to my personal experience. Yeah, so it is a way of bringing all these experiences full circle, and it doesn't really matter if it's negative or positive. It is me as Musembi. All of these are my stories, and I own them. Yeah.
So what I said about the politics part of it.
Yeah.
So the personal essay, you could say that the personal essay, if the news is about telling the truth, then the personal essay is about diversifying what people think. To ensure, we don't just think of you in one way.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a personal essay about a historical event. A historical event or a political event, right? A historical event is usually a political event. So let's say you have a personal essay about what happened in, let's say, during the protests last year, right? So there could, in the old times, in the old era before there was social media, I imagine there would be one narrative from the state, and it would be run on like 3 media stations or 1 media station, and it would be the dominant narrative, which I think is what we are seeing in Tanzania. What we are seeing in Tanzania, and how they are interpreting what happened with the Kenyans. So even the Tanzanian people probably believe it because there's a dominant narrative. There's only
one single source of truth.
But the personal essay is like it's like democracy. You tell more stories. The same way people are shooting their own TikTok accounts, videos. They can't afford like big, YouTube. So they have TikTok, they tell their stories. They write posts on Twitter, on Facebook. And the stories that are out there about the same political event are so diverse. So like, let's say in your case, you write stories about things women deal with. So there could be one story that prevails based on magazines like, I don't know if they still exist, True Love magazine, Eve. There are stories which are selected and put in those magazines, and you say this is the experience that women have. But the personal essays that you do maybe bring more stories about the same experience, different stories maybe.
It does. And you gave a very good example with magazines, that particular one you've mentioned. It is the kind of magazine where there's a particular kind of woman who is being featured. But you see, with personal essays, there's an almost eclectic mix, because it is not just writing alone. Even the media you mentioned, TikTok, YouTube, you find now it's like a whole banquet. There's so much to choose from, and in this context, anyone is able to tell their story. I am able to talk to this woman, that other woman, and bring their stories together. It doesn't matter if they're on a certain level in terms of class or maybe economic wise. So in this way, personal essays give that freedom to write any kind of story that the writer, or in this case me, I want to write. Yeah, it is not compressed. Yeah.
Let me read you another quote by Taiye Selassie from Ghana. She's written a book with the word Ghana in the title.
Ghana Must Go.
Ghana Must Go, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So she says, I write essays to clear my mind. I write fiction to open my heart.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Like I said, writing personal essays for me is cathartic. And fiction is now a way of letting your imagination run wild. You can even choose to be somebody else in fiction. You can even, it's called world building, right?
Yeah.
You can choose to create a whole world. I mean, like, the possibilities are endless. When I was growing up, there was this series of books, the Ladybird series. I'm sure you know them. So the stories in there, the audience was for white kids, if I may say so, Western concepts. So I would be reading these stories, but I'm seeing kids with blue eyes, light hair. Even when I'm reading about Jesus has blonde hair. His skin is white. And I remember I used to ask my mother a lot, and God bless her, because she's been on this journey with me since that far. So I would ask her, why are these books like this? Why can't I see a child who looks like me? So she would try to explain, these books are written by people who are not here. They are not local. So that is why they look like this. But if you want, you can read the same story, but now you do your own character. Do you want her to look like you? Do you want her to have an afro like you? And I'd say, yeah. So she would tell me, just, write about it like that then. So fiction for sure is a way to just let loose, run your imagination as much as you can. And now personal essays is now where you take a moment to reflect, to just go back to what is important to your heart, and now write about that. Yeah. And it's a beautiful balance when you know how to work through both of them. Yeah.
She has another nice quote. As a novelist, I ask of myself only that I tell the truth, and that I tell it beautifully. I see that with personal essays. compared to like maybe the other kinds of essays. Essays may be similar to journalism in the sense of they may not care so much about style, things like that. But the personal essays are written almost like short stories. In one of your essays, there's a sentence I loved so much that I wrote it down. I think it's in this the vignette of Musembi changing emotional complexion. So there's a part you wrote. You needed to understand the hiss in the grass was not just the wind passing. You know, if you have a poetic sort of training or thinking, there's a way you'll note the beauty of this sentence. It has alliteration, assonance. Yeah. So beauty. Yeah. That's something you consider the beauty of style when you're writing a personal essay?
Yeah. Because for me, personal essays are a way of expressing myself, and I want to make it as beautiful as I can, even when I'm reading it, because I want to enjoy my work as well. So that even the other person, like what I said before, what do I want Eric to feel when they read this story, as opposed to, when you're writing a journalistic article, it's facts. Well, if there's a story, it will be there, but it is not the same. So I consider language a lot. I want it to feel like comfort food. Like I feel like this is home and this is beautiful when I read it, and I want the other person, the reader, to also have the same feeling and to also take away something well at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a sense, the personal essayist is almost a poet.
Yeah, but I don't call myself a poet. I don't want the poets to come for me. Yeah, I used to write poems a long time ago, so maybe it's just somewhere in there. I just want to feel like I'm writing something beautiful. Yeah.
So is it possible that you could burrow so deeply within yourself in this journey that you even abandon the essay form in totality and start writing poetry?
No. In our earlier conversation, I was telling you how hard, or rather how challenging it can be to be a creative sometimes, because one day you are a poet, the other day you're doing fiction, you are oscillating, you are straddling all this world. Now I'm an editor. I'm more into looking for how to make this story better, what kind of mistakes are in there and how we can fix them.
Have you read Joan Didion? She writes personal essays as well, even books. Books. The Year of Saying Yes, I think was her.
Yeah.
I think it was about grief, I'm not sure. But I've read her essays. So she writes essays and she also writes books that are based on personal essays. Have you read such books?
What kind of book?
A book that is a personal essay.
A book that is a personal essay?
Yes. Like the whole book is a personal essay. Like the whole book is about a person. Whatever you're saying about yourself, but then or is that just what we call autobiography?
Yeah, because
or autobiographical fiction or
because
something.
I was going to say, is that not a memoir? Or an autobiographical?
True.
Yeah.
So a personal essay is a short memoir. Like a short story is a short novel.
It's a snippet.
Okay.
Yeah, because a memoir is a particular, you're writing about a particular point in your life. Maybe when you're in school, so you focus on that, so it becomes a memoir.
Okay.
Yeah, actually I think a personal essay is like a short story. Like a memoir, a short story of a memoir. Yeah,
makes sense. So you could write a memoir one day, memoirs. Memoirs of Musembi.
You know what?
That's catchy.
You know?
Memoirs of
Probably.
Musembi.
Probably.
Mm.
But then
Mm.
I don't like talking about myself, so I might end up talking about someone else. Yeah.
Okay. Or you could do it and then say it's a work of fiction. You know, the
hide like that.
Yeah.
Hide away like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of writers do that. They are writing fiction, but in reality they are writing
about themselves.
Yeah. I'm sure it has happened to you as well.
I may not confirm or deny.
Yeah.
So, she says, I think we've discussed this. She says, I write entirely to find out what I am thinking, what I am looking at, what I see, and what it means.
Interesting.
She said she's mentioned she's used like, let's say, 4 verbs: what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at, what I see, which is the same as what I'm looking at, and what it means. So let's say 3: thinking, perception, and meaning making. So she says these are the 3 things that writing is for her: for thinking, for articulating what she thinks, articulating her perception, and articulating meaning, what meaning she has made from what she has perceived and thought.
But you see, you can look at something and not see. So there are still 4 things. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the poetic side.
Yeah, you can be staring, but you're not seeing that tree outside. Yeah. For me, that quote simply encompasses reflection. Especially for me, when I'm writing personal essays and even in general, it's a way of decluttering my mind most of the time. I am able to see my thoughts here on paper instead of just thinking they're just there. Maybe I'm going in circles, but now when I put it on paper, I am able to see, to look at my thoughts and see, and now perceive
and make meaning out of it. I like that last one, make meaning out of it. Like, let's say something happens to you. When do you make meaning out of it? Is it during reflection, during memory, during the fact?
I think for me it's during memory.
So meaning needs some distance.
Needs some time. Because and memory is tricky. You could be it could be, I don't want to say memory is playing tricks, but it could be a way of you've just not put the dots together. Yeah, so for me it is memory, definitely. Yeah, like I've said, during the pen residency, it's now when it's like my eyes were opened to personal essays, and now I understood, so what I've been writing all along is personal essays, or rather my personal experiences. And even my output for the anthology, it's stories that I had sat on, or rather experiences that I had sat on for a while. They were just fermenting and I didn't have an outlet for them. So, and at that moment is when now I was able to write them, and now they were published. So for me, I'd say it's memory, definitely. I have to sit with something long enough for me to be able to now release it. Yeah.
You see now what I meant, that it's impossible to write about something that happened too recently, because you need that time.
Yeah, you need time.
I don't know if I've always felt that anytime I try to write about something very recent, there is no creativity in it. When I try to write, the words are just words, and I only describe. I don't make meaning out of it.
It feels rushed.
Yes. Take an example of The Legend of Beach House. It's about the Malaysian airplane crash. But that one historical fact has been taken and has been something, I don't know if you want to call it blown out of proportion, into something else, something beautiful, something philosophical, something weird, something strange, and something that totally didn't happen. But there's the truth in it, the truth that is universal even.
It still goes back to the freedom we were talking about. Yeah, like for Peter, I even remember during I don't know if you were there at the book launch.
I was there.
There were very many questions, but you see, it is fiction. He had the freedom to write however he wanted. The only thing centering this is the truth of the plane crash, or rather the plane disappearing. You don't know what happened to it. It's that truth. So it gave him that freedom to just play around with it, and even the characters, because I had my book club invite him, and the same questions were there. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean, the angel of dreams? I mean, he had that freedom, and it's beautiful to see. Yeah. So, and it's also because he sat with it for a while. So it's what you're saying. You cannot rush creativity like that, especially writing. You need to sit with it. You need to play around with it, because I'm sure by the time he was coming to this now, the body of work that you are reading, he had played around with it for a while, if I may say so.
I like this quote from Didion.
You read Didion a lot?
Not really, but I was looking for quotes about writing, which would add some texture to the conversation we're having. I can read you a quote from Self-Reliance. I think I have it here. So this is Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says, "In every work of genius, we recognize our own rejected thoughts. They come back to us with a certain alienated majesty." What do you think?
From where I'm sitting, the way I understand it is, you cannot really run away from your thoughts, or rather your essence as a person. Like some of the essays I've shared with you, it's not all. Some of them, especially the ones I've written under pseudonym, it's not things I'm comfortable with. I'm comfortable even just sitting with them and thinking, wow, that was me, or this is me, and these thoughts are in my head. So, and even when I start writing them, they just pour out of me. Like there was no way I could run away from them unless I just want to, stay silent forever. So, and it is not just personal essays, any kind of writing. And I'll repeat it again. Even when it's fiction, a writer always writes about themselves. Whether it's in fiction or it's non-fiction, there's always an element of truth about the person who is writing. So really, you can never run away from your thoughts. Yeah.
What about the idea of when whatever if you read something, like if I read whatever you've written, I resonate with it, not because it's about you, but because there's a truth in there that is also my truth.
Yeah, sure. It happens. Like when you read something and you are really identifying with it, right? Yeah. Because I believe the human experience is just one big thing. It's just that we experience it at certain different levels, but I think in almost everything I've read, there's something I am relating to. Even I read this book I was a bit young. I think I was in primary. It's called Red Wall. It's about an anthropomorphic society. That means animals who can talk. Basically, animals who have human characteristics. At the time that I was reading it, it was just fantastical for me. It was just animals talking, animals going to war. But now reading it as an adult, it's like reading Animal Farm when you are younger and now. Yeah, you derive, or rather I derived a different kind of meaning. And at the time I thought it is just animals, I'm just having fun, I'm just doing this light reading. But I took something from it, because in that society there's feuding animals, there's animals that are trying to raise families, there's also the political class. So it's basically the human experience. It's just that it's being told from the point of animals. So yeah.
Okay. E.B. White, he writes a lot of essays as well. So this is something he wrote in the introduction to his book of essays. So it's sort of what do you call it? It's sort of not a critique. It's sort of irony or sarcasm, self-deprecating. So he writes, "The essayist is a self-liberated man, sustained by the childish belief that everything he thinks about, everything that happens to him, is of general interest. Only a person who is congenitally self-centered has the effrontery and the stamina to write essays."
Only someone who is self-centered.
Only a person who is congenitally self-centered has the effrontery, audacity, and the stamina. I like the word stamina there, to write essays. He's clearly joking, because it's the introduction to his own book of essays.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be self-centered enough to write about yourself. But does it mean personal essays are just about
the self?
The self?
It's a question I should ask you. Yeah. Are they about the self?
They are about the self, but they are also bigger than the self.
In what way?
Because in most instances, I am writing about myself, but there's supporting characters. I'm not just writing about me.
Are you also writing about society?
I'm also writing about society, yes. So
because the self is a member of society.
Yeah. So it is bigger than that. It is also the self and
yeah, because there are people
picture.
who say that the writers of today, we don't write about the big political issues like the writers of the 1960s.
Really?
Ngugi wa Thiong'o,
Yeah.
by the moment of silence, he passed away yesterday.
May he rest in peace.
He's now immortal, that's what I like to say. His words outlive him.
Definitely.
Yeah. So they say that today we write about our own, romance. You are in love with this girl. Or the personal essay is like, if I have a certain personal problem, like let's say my nail did something, I could write an essay about it, a good essay, get published in Granta.
Yeah.
Then somebody will be like, oh, Chinua Achebe was writing about colonialization and things like that. Let me read you a quote by Tai again, which brings that into focus. She writes, "So often, literature about African people is conflated with literature about African politics, as if the state was somehow of greater import or interest than the individual?
Well,
I think she nails it.
we go back to the self-centeredness. Yeah. That is why they are called personal essays. I mean, I should be self-centered enough, be audacious enough to write about my personal experience, and also to tell my truth as I see fit. And I beg to differ. I don't think today's writers are not writing about the political landscape. We have so many ways right now of expressing ourselves.
True.
We have social media, we have there are very many ways
Through our works. No, I mean like they are referring to through our works, through the fiction or the works of fiction, the books, the writing that we consider our work.
But okay, if I go to Facebook and I write something about me and tie it to the political landscape as of right now, am I still not writing about?
But Facebook, what you write on Facebook, you can't really compare with what you publish, formally.
But is it my work?
That's a question for the philosophers, but it is your writing, but I don't think it's your work, unless maybe you select and publish certain, because there is no selection in Facebook. You can post anything and everything.
So
but
the
in
question,
your work, you select because it is work.
So the question is basically on publishing.
Yes, that's the word, publishing. Okay. Yes, we are not publishing enough about politics. Yeah, like if you go and look at the top, but I don't know, because the books that were published in the 1970s in Kenya were not as political. They were about what do you call them, popular. There were popular books, a lot of popular books in the 1970s in Kenya here. But if you read those stories and you read them critically, they were popular, but they are telling stories about that country. Like if you read this book like Across the Bridge, it's a popular book, but it's about classism, the divide between the rich and the poor, which highlights the fact that class was starting to be it had always been a big thing, but now it was a thing, that there's this gap, there's this bridge between the very rich and the very poor. So this guy comes from the slum and he falls in love with this girl in a gated community where he's working as a houseboy. It's a popular story. Okay, let me give you an example of your book, of your stories. They are personal essays, but one could say that they delve into feminist politics. It's political. You maybe didn't intend to be political when you wrote them, but they are political. Did you intend to be political?
No. I can say for sure I've never really set out to be political.
Look, like, let me give you an example.
Okay.
Even in the title. Bonding over vaginas. There's something political about this. It's a statement. It's a political statement. Like, this is what society says. I'm not supposed to even talk about this openly. But I will, and I will make it the title. And the story is about women examining their own selves, their vaginas. Let me use the correct terminology. That's a political act. To write about it, to do it in private, and then to write about it, it's like reclaiming your body is a political act, right? Because she, in the Taye Selassie quote, she mentions that, she says, as if the state is more important than the individual.
Than the individual, yes.
So there is always this where the state is trying to control the individual. So the state owns your body. So there is this political call, my body, my choice.
Yeah.
It's like, it's political. My body, I claim it. The state does not own my body.
Yes.
I think that's what is happening in that story, in that personal essay, Bonding Over Vaginas. It's a political statement.
When you put it like that, yes. And I didn't set out with that intention in mind, but I wrote it at a time when we as women, we have those moments where, or rather me, like at the time I was not appreciative of my body. But then there was that experience, and it gave me back my body in a way. So I wanted to put it out there as a statement, and to just say, I don't want to use that word here, but yeah, it was just a way to say, yeah, I got this. This is my way of looking at myself, at my body, and celebrating womanhood in all of its glory, nastiness, and in betweens. Yeah, so it is political. Yeah.
And I noticed you said, I got my body back.
Yeah.
So it's like, who took it? You always had it.
I've always had it, but nature, childbirth, and other things can make a woman feel like their body is not theirs anymore.
And is it the experience, or is it the beliefs from the society?
Mostly it's the beliefs. Yeah, because it's rare to even hear of a man being body shamed because they have a big belly, a pot belly. It's mostly, oh, his wife is feeding him well, or for our politicians, he's just a politician, so he's eating good, something of the sort. But now, as a woman, as women, it's the society saying you're letting yourself go. There's voices of you're not taking care of yourself, you're letting yourself go. But you see, it's not something that you've imposed on yourself. Yeah, it's something natural that has happened. And for example, childbirth, you see, it's not a miracle that your body will just snap back. Yeah, so I was in that space that I was feeling like I didn't like myself too much. So yeah, and writing that essay and going back to what it means for me to write personal essays, it was very cathartic for me. And even the editor I was working with at the time, when I presented the first title of the essay, she was like, no, call it by name. Don't go into the corners, because your essay is very straightforward. You know what you're saying. So why would you be hiding in the title? Yeah, so that even gave me more power. It gave me confidence to put it like that. Yes.
And let me give you another example. A backdoor abortion was my only choice. Then we must decriminalize abortion now. This is the title. So this is a very political title. First of all, decriminalize. It's about the law.
Yeah.
So you're already calling for the change in the law, which is political, right? Then you use the word choice, which is, there's the whole my body, my choice. There's the whole question of choice.
Yeah.
And choice is a political thing when it comes to the body against the state.
Yeah.
So it's political.
It is.
Yet you wrote it as a personal essay.
Yeah. And it's very interesting because I never set out to do them like that. But yeah, again, it was also about me going through a certain experience and feeling like I'm stuck because I was not able to get the result that I wanted at the time. Because the state says that there's no law that supports what you want to do at the moment. And so I was writing it from a point of, I was angry at the time because I was feeling trapped because it was not a choice that I had made consciously, like this is the path that I wanted to take at this particular point in time, but now I can't go back. And you find that a lot of women are also in that position. Someone gets pregnant, they're not ready, but you see the state says no, we do not allow for abortion in this country. And so you find some of them are going for these backdoor services that mostly backfire. So yeah, I was writing it from a point of, I just wanted to voice out the angry thoughts that were in my head at the time and possibly have that bridge of acceptance. And thank God I got the acceptance that I needed and moved on. And hopefully it's also a message of hope that, things can get better. Yeah.
Let me read the last quote as we wind up. So back to Didion. In many ways, writing is the act of saying I, of imposing oneself upon other people, of saying, listen to my mind. It's an aggressive, even a hostile act. You can disguise its aggressiveness all you want with veils of subordinate clauses and qualifiers and tentative subjunctives, with ellipses and evasions, with a whole manner of intimating rather than claiming, of alluding rather than stating. But there is no getting around the fact that setting words on paper is the tactic of a secret bully, an invasion, an imposition of the writer's sensibility on the reader's most private space.
Wow.
That's Didion.
Indeed. Yeah, that's very deep. And definitely there's no better way to put it. A writer is always imposing onto someone else or to the readers. Like for that essay that you've just read, do you think I really wanted to write it? I did not. For a long time I did not. But I needed to write it. And people needed to read it. And the feedback that I got was because I submitted it not in Kenya. So the editor was really curious as to, so the law does not accept this. So how is it for every other woman in Kenya? So you see, and even for the friends that I was able to give to read, this is not a story I had told them in person, but it was me imposing my writing on them and making them come face to face with some of the ugly bits that is me. And we circle back to not having a single story, right? I am so many things. I am this, I am this, I am this. But it doesn't mean that my essence as a person is now washed out or something. Yeah, so writing is a big imposition onto people, because even sometimes you don't want to write those things, but you need to. I remember, I don't know if you've read A Little Life. It's a very heavy book, and I have not finished it. I was reading it with one of my book clubs, and only one person finished, because the themes there are very heavy. And at some point I was not able to go forward because I wanted to know what this meant for the writer. So I went looking for interviews she's done about the book, and the underlying message there, what she was saying is this needed to be done, because a lot of people are coming back to me to say that I gave them something heavy to read, but it needed to be done. So in a lot of ways, that is what writing has to do. It needs to impose, and by impose it means you have to read, you need to read, and then you need to think about it. I know myself, my personality as a reader is I don't like to read about such heavy themes. But now you see, for someone like Unia Mbabazi, she writes a lot on grief, on other heavy themes. And when I first read one of her books, it was the Unbirthed Souls. It was really, I was not in the right mind frame to read it, but you see, it gave me something to think about, to mull over. And so when I went now back to finish it, I had this, I knew what I was going to get out of it. So in my view, that is the kind of imposition we as writers have. We force people, we force readers to look at things that they normally maybe they would not talk about. There's another book, Tomorrow Died Yesterday. We read it. Actually, we read it as a book club with Unia and other ladies, and it was at the height of the protests. Normally, people were not really talking about the government as much. It was just, in passing, oh, the economy is really bad, things are not working. But now you read things in literature, and you're forced to have conversations. You're forced to even look back within yourself, like as part of the society, what is your role in this whole thing that is happening? So for me, that is what I think about when it comes to writers imposing themselves on other people. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we've come to the end of our conversation.
Yeah. It was a beautiful conversation.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you came. And asante sana.
Thank you for having me.
So there you have it. We had Esther Musembi for a beautiful conversation on the personal essay and the politics of the personal essay. So this was Conversations in Literature. My name is Eric Rogara. Some people know me as Miyamoto Muswahili. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, Roaring Simba Network, don't forget to press the subscribe button. Conversations in Literature is sponsored by Nairobi Academic Press. Until next time.